We'll also be covering this incredible get-together, this 3-day international convention of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community across Berkshire and the world as they come together. 30,000 of them gathering this weekend, 80 million watching and listening around the world, and we'll be chatting to one of the organisers there from the conference. And members of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community across Berkshire are meeting tens of thousands of other Muslims from the UK and abroad in Hampshire this weekend. It's a 3-day international convention known as the Jalsa Salana, and it's the largest and longest standing Muslim convention in the UK. 2014, in fact, marks the 48th year that the event has taken place in the UK, and delegates have been taking part in prayer and discussing their faith and their identity. The Jalsa will come to an end today, and it will come to an end with a pledge of allegiance to His Holiness Mirza Masroor Ahmad, the worldwide head and caliph of the AMC. Well, Muddassar Ahmed is a coordinator for the AMC Youth Association in our local area, including Langley, Slough and Datchet, and he joins me now. A very good morning to you, Muddassar.
Good morning, Paul.
Hi. So it's a big weekend. I'm told that 80 million people around the world tune into this and either listen or watch and get the messages, get translations. It's huge, isn't it?
It is. It's absolutely huge. I mean, the majority of those individuals will be watching on our Sky Channel 787. It's this channel called Muslim TV Ahmadiyya. And it's obviously accessible over the internet and so forth. So it's really one of those events where Muslims around the world just really look forward to seeing this event, those that can't actually make it themselves. And thousands upon thousands of Ahmadis from around the world actually save up throughout the year just to make this journey to come and travel and be part of this event, because it really is an amazing event to be part of.
Now, I mentioned that one of the things you'll be doing is talking about your identity and where you fit into the world at the moment. Does the Muslim community feel, I don't know, assailed at the moment, that you're always the bad guys, that whenever you pick up a newspaper or switch on the telly or listen on the radio, you're always getting a hammering?
I think so. It's a huge shame, actually, that is what we are seeing. And it's a huge shame that those individuals that are responsible for tarnishing the name of Islam do so without any consideration for the faith itself. And I think if those individuals actually took some time out to just learn a little bit more about their faith and read the book, the Holy Quran, and really understand it, I think, there would be no chance at all of them going in the direction that they are going in, because the actions that they do are entirely against each and every one of those teachings of Islam, which are based around tolerance, around justice. In fact, those very values that the British people share are shared with Islamic faith: peace, tolerance, justice, respect. And it's a shame that these individuals don't understand that.
Well, just looking at the front page of some of the newspapers this morning here, Muddassar, there's a headline in the Sunday Times: UK imams put a fatwa on jihadists. This is the story where various imams have come out and said that anybody who goes off to fight with ISIS is a heretic. So it would seem that, the leaders of the British Muslim community are standing up and being counted. But you would understand the criticism if people said it's a bit late.
I mean, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Association has been speaking out against extremism in all forms, not since last year or 2002, but we've actually been doing this for decades, the entire time we've been in the UK and throughout our existence 100 years ago. So it's nothing new for us. It's just that because extremism is so widespread now, I guess we're getting a bit more airplay, but I'm really pleased and glad that they are now finally speaking out against all forms of extremism. And the more that we can do that, the more we can educate the Muslims around the world around what is true jihad, because it's certainly not going and fighting for ISIS or any other organization in Iraq and Syria. That's not jihad at all. That's criminal warfare as far as I'm concerned and as far as we're concerned.
Are there areas of Berkshire, Muddassar, where your kind of more conciliatory message would not be heard? There, where I don't want to use kind of no-go areas for you, but where if you came in preaching what you've just told to me, that you would be sent away with a flea in your ear, that people don't want to listen to that message?
Possibly there may be some areas where Muslims that are in large numbers, and they may be influenced more so by the elders or leaders of the community from back in Pakistan or somewhere else, Bangladesh, for example. But the thing is, our job as peaceful, law-abiding Ahmadiyya Muslims is to spread peace, however and wherever we can, and we certainly won't be put off by that. So, we'll be fully focused on spreading that message as far and widely as we can. And we take our leadership, we take our guidance from our Caliph, Hazrat Mirza Muddassar Ahmed, the spiritual leader of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, and he's actually the fifth successor, the fifth Caliph of the Promised Messiah. And he's extremely vocal in his fight against extremism. He speaks out regularly in Parliament, and he's spoken out in Brussels and in the US and so on, and he's written letters to world leaders to try to bring them back to the path of peace, and I think he's done a really good job in doing that.
And of course, we mustn't forget that some members of your own community have been persecuted around the world by the very people we're talking about, people who are going off and fighting as jihadists as far as they're concerned with IS. Final question to you. So this weekend wraps up your 3 days. What do you take forward as your identity as Muslims? What conclusions do you come to about where you fit into the world?
Well, a good question, and I touched upon this before around the values, Islamic values, and how we share those with British values around peace, tolerance, justice, and respect. I class I'm a British-born Muslim, and I class myself as an Ahmadiyya Muslim, and I class myself as a British citizen, and I think the two go hand in hand perfectly. And I'm absolutely proud to be a British-born Ahmadiyya Muslim, and I think what we learn over the course of these 3 days, not just those in attendance, the 30,000, but even the 80 million across the world. As you mentioned before, we're going to pledge allegiance to our Caliph, and part of that is pledging allegiance to our country and nation. And I think if all citizens did that, we wouldn't have this issue of people going abroad to fight so-called holy wars and the likes thereof.
Okay, Muddassar, I appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank you very much indeed. Muddassar Ahmed there, who is attending that 3-day conference. And once again, something like 30,000 people gathering in the UK, 80 million watching and listening around the world.